Alright, we are live. Morning, morning. How's everyone doing on the YouTube? Right, let's wait for a few more people to join and then we'll make a start. What website do you use to trade? This is TradingView. TradingView.com. But I only use this for charts because it's a lot cleaner, easier. So that's why. Pre-London played out nicely. Yeah, I think it was just like a continuation of the move there. But yeah, we'll see, because this 4-hour candle, it barely has a top wick, right? And I'm not so convinced that we're coming straight down at this point. I think this area here to the left is going to cause us some issues. So I think this area over here is going to cause us some concern. This is a previous level of support. I think that, you know, if we do start to, you know, see some reactions here, that we could start to head right back up way into the Asian range. The same thing over here as well. This area here, if the 4-hour candle basically flips bullish, then we could be, you know, like respecting this whole area as a zone, like wicking down below it to then go bullish above it. Would make sense based on the higher time frames to then push up back up to here, based on the higher time frame. So we'll have to wait and see what kind of happens with this situation. Good sells are going to be like below this kind of area here, probably like a resistance, something like that, but that's going to give opportunities coming down to these lower levels of support. But we'll take a look at that in a minute. So if we measure this range, this is around a 26 pip range, 150-400. We've got clean candle to the left hand side, but I'd want to see a pullback first before we take a trade. Want to see a pullback happen first, because I'm not convinced that we're going to head down yet based on this 4-hour candle right now. We could easily come back up to start pushing up into these wicks. So yeah, I think it's going to be important to wait a little bit here today. Plus it's a Monday, so I think it's going to be better to be, you know, what's the word? Nice and relaxed on a Monday.
I was going to say as well, that 4-hour previously just closed pretty much at that previous area.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so I mean, getting in themselves would have been, it would have put, that's what kind of put me off as well.
Yeah, because this is a strong level on pound yen, this area right here, and yeah, like you're saying, that candle closed at it, so we may end up seeing a 4-hour candle look something like this, where we basically wick down below it, and then we start to come back up, create some support, and then maybe MY session, you know, is going to do something like this, where we also then start heading back up at that point. So yeah, I agree with that.
I'd rather that. Then we're still respecting the overall bullish
Structure.
market structure. Yeah.
This could be daily, just creating a bottom wick, doing a retest of this area, then continue back up. We basically gapped here though. That's the only thing. We did gap there. So we may close like a weaker bearish candle or something today, and then start breaking above the highs to push further up tomorrow. But yeah, like we're talking about that 4-hour situation, it's not. It doesn't make sense right now to continue down yet. I think to sell it, we need some further resistance to form. I think that'll be a safer option, because then we know, okay, well, potentially we've, you know, maybe even if we see a, you know, the 4-hour flip and then we start coming back down, you know, if we start to see resistance forming, then we can say, okay, the top wick's been created at this point, and now we can start heading back down. But I don't think there's enough to say that yet at this point. So we'll wait and see. How's it going, bro? Let's kill this week. Yes, we're gonna have a good week here this week. All right, let's take a look at gold. Okay, so gold is at a support right now. Quite a strong level at this point. Seems like gold has also created a minor resistance over here. So gold is in a range at the moment. Yeah, at the moment, while gold is in this daily area, I've said I'm not gonna be too worried about it. I think a better sells are going to be below 1724, maybe even 1721 is going to be the safer option to wait for a trade on gold while we're in this mess. Very, very difficult, choppy. So I think for this point, gold is going to have to, yeah, no, gonna have to wait a little bit there with gold. But yeah, let's take it nice and easy, just a Monday. Okay. We've got no Salim here this morning.
Maybe he'll be on later, for sure.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm not so convinced we're heading down yet on pound yen. I'm not going to be looking for sells just yet. Not just yet. Man, not a lot of people here on a Monday morning. You watch, if we catch a trade, it will increase. All the copiers will be there.
You can imagine they have like, some of them have like 5 tabs open with 5 streamers, and they're just keeping them all on mute, just skipping between them.
Oh, 100%. Oh, that is definitely it. Or what they generally do is just flick through and then be like, okay, he said this, so I'll wait for that. I won't come back to him until... Yeah, I mean, if I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
well,
that happens, yeah.
if I'm like, oh, I'm waiting for the 30-minute candle to close below, they're like, okay, I'll come back in like 12 minutes and see what happens. Yeah, oh well, doesn't matter. Ola, brother, Ola. Yeah, I'm expecting a nice pullback on pound yen. I think we could pull back pretty nicely. Maybe create some resistance below like 158.20, or potential buys above 159.35 is going to be pretty good. We have a nice, decent, clean range at that point. It's like a 18 pip range. So let's wait and see. Gold is trying to break below 1727. So there is the potential downside. Okay, 15-minute candle closed below 1727. Yeah, the only issue is that we could just come straight back in the range. I think maybe it's going to be a minor resistance. Plus, this isn't the biggest of ranges for gold. It's like a 19-20 pip range. Yeah, to be honest, better sells are going to be below this area. Sometimes gold just finds volume. The one thing I would say about gold, it does seem like we're going to come down at this point, just purely based on the fact, right? Just purely based on the fact that we are basically creating these lower levels of resistance on the 4-hour. So it does kind of make sense to see further downside on gold, because you can clearly see structure is bearish. Obviously we're in this overall range, but if we're making lower levels of resistance, it's probably going to be a point where we actually start to break through this zone, and then obviously a resistance below that area is going to be the safest option. But based on the market structure, I mean, we should start to see pushes down through this area now. I think based on the weekly as well, from what I was looking at last night, I think, you know, the new weekly candle as well should continue to move bearish at this point, considering last week closed bearish. But I think that whole idea of a move is going to happen basically once we're below this kind of whole zone here. So we're in a zone right now. This area here is like our wick, bottom of the 4 hour, and then here's like our whole 4 hour range zone, and then there you can see how we're creating these lower resistances even on the daily. So once we basically start breaking below here, would be a good opportunity to see further downside basically at that point. But for the minute, I think gold is gonna have to be left alone for a little bit. So we've got like 9 minutes left for this 30-minute candle. Yeah, I'm not going to be happy with sells just yet. I'm not so convinced we're heading down. Even if we do push down a little bit, I mean, at that point I want to see a solid resistance to form. So just have to wait and see what happens. Everyone had a good weekend anyway? What did everyone get up to? Okay, nice. So we should be pulling back at this point. We should see some form of a pullback. Morning, how you doing? Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you doing, mate? I'm doing well, I'm doing well. So we're just waiting at this point, waiting for potential pullbacks. Should be pretty good. So we can't take buys right now because, you know, price is clearly in a little push of a downtrend, right? So what can we see here? We can obviously see that we created resistance over here, create a lower resistance over here. This is your Asian session, and obviously we create a further resistance here, which is pre-London PL Asian high. Right, cool. So either we're looking for potential rejections over here to push back down and extend, fill in this range, or potentially I think the better buys are going to be above here to then push up to correct that phase there at that point. Or like a support formed over here could also make sense from a higher level of support perspective, and then this would be a target, and then extend again further up back to where we basically sorted out, basically where we closed before the weekend. Oh, Salim's here. Morning, Salim. Yeah, we'll have to wait to see how this 30-minute candle closes over here. I wanted to do a deeper retracement. I wanted to do a much deeper retracement into this zone. It's kind of tapped up into these wicks, but I wanted to really pull back a lot more than that. So let's wait and see. Okay. What's your thoughts on the lowering of leverage? What do you mean in terms of what they're doing with regulation, or you mean as an individual trader wanting to lower his leverage? Yeah, which one? I'm asking which one. Is it individual trader or what they're doing with regulations? Like Pepperstone forcing a smaller leverage. I think, yeah, I mean, it is what it is, isn't it? I mean, you know, there's nothing you can do about it. If they want to bring in, you know, more regulation or whatever, that's what they're doing. I mean, you can blame the fact that, you know, so many people lose money. That's why they feel the need to bring in more regulation. However, if people didn't make money, if people did make money, if, let's say a lot of people did, let's say it was like, you know, a really, really high amount of people who traded made money, then I mean, you know, you would, like, I don't know, I hate to think what they would do to it then, because at the end of the day, you know, I'm a big believer in that they don't particularly want the average man to you know, make his way up. So that being said, you know, you can see things like where they might actually, I don't know, like you see like in certain countries they made Forex illegal. Like, why? You know, there's just certain reasons, you know, and that some can be argued. But I think in this occasion, yeah, I see what you're saying. There's nothing you can really do about it. I think it depends really, because if you're someone who, you know, does require higher leverage, whatever, then there are obviously other brokers that will be subject to less regulation. But again, you know, I think they just think they're doing it for the right reasons. So yeah, you'd have to kind of see with that one. So let's wait to see how this 30-minute candle closes over here. Be nice to see a bit more of a deeper pullback at this point. This kind of area would be nice to see, maybe like a resistance form, something like that, but we'll see. Even up to here would be okay. Yeah, I mean, if you like lower leverage, then I mean that's okay, you know. If you feel like it stops you from making bad decisions, then by all means, I think it's a good thing. Okay, let's take a look on the 15-minute time frame. So we basically pull back at this point. So we're gonna have to wait and see if we can potentially maybe create some resistance. We'll see how this next 30-minute candle sets up at this point. 1 hour candle still open. Yeah, we're not really sure yet what's gonna happen. My trade this morning. Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a little look. But just remember, guys, we've got news coming up at 9:30. Shouldn't be anything too, too bad, but still something to think about. Okay, nice. So you got entry when price broke the low, resistance is formed to retest the low, candle with large body showing selling momentum, prices in heavy downtrend. Yeah, that's pretty good. Very, very nice. I think you got your 10 pips there, right? Very nice. How long we got left for this 4-hour candle? We've still got a while left. A lot can happen in this 4-hour situation. So yeah, it seems like we're having a little bit of a pullback phase now. So from around 6:15 to around now roughly is where we're starting to see a slight pullback. Pretty good. And then if we can start to maybe see some resistance forming or a close below here, would then make sense to maybe see some continuation. But we need to see a candle close in our direction, because if not, this 4-hour, like we said, can easily start to pull back at that point. So I'm not quite happy with any sells just yet. We have to wait and see what happens in this little situation here, if we're going to pull back deeper or not. Still just waiting over here a little bit. Just wait and see what happens. Boom, 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 boom. Man, YouTube, you lot are really quiet this morning. What's going on? Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, gonna have to do a little bit of waiting over here at this point because we're not quite sure yet what's gonna happen. Monday, yes. Yeah, it seems to be a bit of a what's the word? It's quiet for a Monday. So we're just seeing how this candle's setting up at this point, this new 30-minute candle. I think it has the potential to kind of like push up higher into this zone potentially, and then maybe start to reject here would be better, but let's see. Come on guys, we've only got like 9 likes over here. Let's get some more likes up in the stream. We've got like 5 minutes left for this 15-minute candle to close over here. I got 10 pips sell this morning, but my bias is still buy. We have strong bullish on weekly, daily, so I don't think it will correct the whole move up without any big news. Previous daily candle also closed strong bullish above support too. Yeah, it's true. The only one thing I would say is right now, you know, the structure on the short term is bearish. So I mean, we may want to like I don't know, maybe come down to maybe here, do some form of a retest, and then start pushing further up. You know, weekly can technically come all the way down into here before start pushing back up again. That was a big liquidity grab, right? So we have to like keep that in the back of our minds as well. So I'm waiting to see how this 15-minute candle closes. If it's a very small body, then I'm going to wait for the 30-minute candle to close over here. But we'll see. I think this could be a... Yeah, gonna have to wait to see how it closes. So I think the stop would need to be kept somewhere maybe above the previous 1 hour candle. It's gonna be up over here potentially. If this current 15-minute candle closes bearish, the next one breaking the low of the previous will push the current 30-minute down. Yes, that's kind of what I'm looking at. But we do need it to close like a fairly decent 15-minute candle. If it closes, you know, not very that strong, and we're creating still a higher level support on the 5, then I can't see sells yet. But we are creating like a minor resistance over here. Let's take a look on the 30-minute. Yeah, see, if it closes like this, this is going to be a too weak of a candle at this point. See what it does. It's got like 30 seconds left. Because if it closes like this, I'm going to need to wait for the 30-minute candle to close at that point. It's flipping bullish in the last 20 seconds. Yeah, so we're still respecting this like short-term bullish structure here. So we may actually push a little bit higher up with the retracement. See how it closes. Yeah, this would slightly be better, because then if we get a nice bearish engulfing 15-minute candle, then that would basically turn the 30-minute candle bearish at that point. So yeah, 15-minute candle closed bullish, so there's no sells right now. So, gonna need to wait. Gonna need to wait. Boom, 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 boom. I think there's going to be a little bit of waiting involved here today. Potentially. So we're basically waiting for the 30-minute candle to close over here at this point. Gold. It looks like gold did create a little minor resistance over there on the 5-minute time frame for price to continue down. But still in that sticky range spot. Okay, so we've got like 10 minutes left over here to see how this 30-minute candle closes at this point. So we just gotta wait. There we go, nice. So we should start to be pulling back at this point. Maybe if we can create some resistance below like 158.20, that's going to be a solid idea to then continue down to retest this low. But obviously if we close, let's say back above here, then obviously yeah, there is that opportunity to push up to there potentially. But we may not get enough range for that sort of trade. So I think better buys are going to be above 159.25. Yeah, better buys are going to be above here. Did you guys hear about that container ship that got wedged in that
Yeah.
canal? That's mad, isn't it?
That is crazy.
And then I heard about old BJ apparently having a little affair or whatever.
Really?
Yeah, did you not hear about that?
Nah.
Yeah, so Boris Johnson, apparently it came out that he had an affair with what's her name? Jennifer. Hang on, let me find it. Jennifer Arcuri. Do you know who she is?
Never heard of her.
Yeah, apparently she's she and Boris was having a little affair.
I'm to all sorts of lockdown.
So yeah. No, I think this was a while ago. To be fair to Boris, even though, yeah, to be fair to the man. Okay, so this is quite a deep pullback at this point. So yeah, for me, I'm not going to be looking for buys until we're above this area. You know, I don't think it was a good idea to necessarily take a buy right over here because we still was in a downtrend. There was no confluence to say that, you know, we can continue moving up yet at that point. Especially if we get a bearish candle form over here, then we could be coming right back down to this level here and then extending off to continue further down at that point. So yeah, we're just gonna wait. Yeah, maybe that 4 hour is gonna do what we think it's gonna do. Seems like it. This 4 hour candle flipped, we could be coming right back up to this area. We'll have to wait. We've got like 5 minutes left for this candle to close. So yeah, not really enough range at this point, but a good buy is going to be above this resistance. But yeah, not for me to take buys at this point. I'm waiting for either buys above here or sells to test this low and continue down. So what's everyone looking at? Anyone got any charts, anything? What are people looking at? Maybe 4 hour making a top wick. I think so. I think maybe, or it's gonna flip to go the other way at this point. I was looking at AUD USD. If you're looking at AUD USD, I mean, right now there's probably not much volume with that pair because AUD is, you know, open during the Asian session. USD is open during NY session, so but it's up to you. So we should have some London open volume coming in real soon. So I have to wait and see what happens there. It'd be nice if this 30-minute candle can close below 158.30, and then even if we get potential strong resistance formed there, would make sense to see price continue moving bearish. So we've got like 2 minutes left over here. Thanks man, I'm kind of new. Yeah, that's fine. I just would say my advice to you would be, if you're trading London session, you want to look at pairs that have volume in the London session. So, you know, think about what markets are open during London, and that's going to be where the volume's at. So that would basically suggest, aka your London open, your pound, you know, that type of thing. The only pair that has volume like 24 hours, or not 24 hours necessarily, but you know, like there's volume in Asia and there's volume in, you know, is gold. Because we tend to see only volume with pound yen during the London session or the Asian session, because obviously because of the yen. I'm looking for sells from 151 100. I think, I don't know if you should be looking for sells at that point. I think you could be looking for sells, you know, once a resistance is formed in you know, a number of areas. Because I think the problem with that idea is, I would be looking for buys above here to push up to there. That would be my trade based on structure, because this is a resistance and this is a resistance, right? This was a support and this was a lower level of support. Right now I have no confluence to tell me that we're heading back up to here unless we break structure, which is going to be there to push up to there. You know, if we create a further resistance here, then where's the most likely place we're going to head off to? Right back to here. So I see this as a pullback, right? This is a pullback situation. So 30-minute candle closed basically back above this previous support at this point. So I think there's an opportunity to see it continue up to here, but I'll be looking for buys above that level to continue. So I think there's going to be a little bit more waiting involved over here. Four hour as well is retracing a lot. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens in this situation. So it's a gamble. I think if you're trading AUD USD or something like that at this sort of time, you know, if you're doing it on the higher time frames, you might be alright, because you know you're gonna miss out all the noise. But yeah, I think if you're trying to scalp it, then it's more, yeah, you're trading with no volume, so it's going to be a lot harder. Four hour to pull back to go down. That's the plan, but we need to see, because we basically closed back above. Asian support at this point, so we may actually start to push further up, but we'll see. Just from what I've seen before, you know, this at this point we should push up to here, and then I think if we can break above here is going to be a better opportunity to see, you know, price then actually continue back up to 151, 100. I think would be a good play there. We're gonna have to wait for confirmation for both ideas. That's it. You have your idea, you wait for confirmation. Simple. So it looks like we're back at pre-London resistance at this point. Yeah, 4-hour candle should be flipping now. This is kind of exactly what I was expecting to see, to be honest, which is why I didn't want to get caught in sells down over here. So this is pretty good to see if the 4-hour candle may now start to push up at this point. So I think for buys, the issue I have now with buys is we're going to need a candle closure above this pre-London resistance. Otherwise, it makes no sense to look for a buy yet. Still could have got like 10 pips there if we took a buy based on the closure back above Asian low, but I think for me it's going to need to be a buy above here, or a support formed above here as well would also make sense based on structure, right? Would be a safe option to wait for a support and then look for price to push up to there. So you've got a couple of options there, but we'll have to see how we react here first. But I think at this point the sells bias is kind of out of the water right now. Oh, look at that. We've got a lot of volume coming in. We may miss this move. May. So we'll see. It's Monday anyway, so. But for me personally, I don't think it made sense to take buys at this point. Because for me, we had an area of issue like 7 pips away, so it didn't really make sense to take a buy. Only thing is, we're breaking above this area pretty early on in the candle. It's got like 23 minutes left. Yeah, we may miss this move up, but we'll see, because it may close above, you know, make like some form of a high, pull back, create some support, which would be pretty good. So I suppose you just got to be patient. So yeah, just waiting over here. But we may miss this situation. So I'm waiting for a candle closure. Yeah, we're just gonna have to basically see how this closes over here. See if it pulls back or not. Can't really do anything right now. Don't want to be jumping up all in buys. Yeah, don't want to be jumping all up in that just yet. Got into buys after 30-minute close above 740 after it failed to push down and break the wick. For me personally, I didn't like this to take a buy, because structurally wise, I think it was pretty risky. I think from a structural perspective, obviously we had resistance, and then we just were creating a further low at this point. So even though it seemed like we rejected here, that's true, right? And I think like you could see a move up partially, but we could have rejected here, we could have rejected here. So I think since it could have done that, I wouldn't have looked to have taken buys. I think because of the structure, if we created further resistance, it would have made more sense to take a sell. But I think on this situation here, yeah, it's a little bit more difficult to anticipate basically that we would go up, because if I look at the data that I've got, or if I look at experience from what I've seen, most of the time this ain't gonna happen. Most of the time it's going to react off of here, and it's going to create a form of resistance in here, and then it's going to push back down, and then obviously everyone's going to be looking for sells below this area. But really, once it created that resistance over here, it made sense to push back down to wherever low it made and then fill these wicks. So I think, yeah, for me it wasn't a good enough buy. I'm quite happy to stay out of that. Not a solid setup for me personally. So we'll see. Even if it breaks above pre-London resistance, I'll still wait for some minor support to buy. Yeah, I think that's okay. A minor support is still going to be pretty good, because then if this was resistance, we're then creating a support over here, and then obviously we have the higher level of support. Now that's a much better confirmation for me to say, okay, we should head up at that point. But what's not a good confirmation for me is to say like, okay, well, we're rejecting this area here. We have a problem area there where we could push to, but I'm expecting it to potentially break. No, because it's counter trend. I would want to wait for resistance or high level of support over there, wherever it's going to be potentially, to then see if we can push higher. I think the only thing that you had for buys was that if you're basing it off the higher time frames, like if you're really trying to look at, okay, well, I'm expecting, I don't know, this new daily candle to go bullish, or whatever it is that you was expecting, or you was expecting potentially some form of rejection. But if you think about it, if we do create support even just here on the 4 hour, then what does that mean for the next 4 hour? Where can we head off to? So yeah, I mean, if I miss this setup, I'm pretty happy with that, to be honest. In my eyes, it wasn't the best situation, but I certainly would not have been taking buys here. No chance. Looking at the resistance on the left, looking at closes above 26th of March was something I was waiting for. That was risky, so reduced position. It was a Monday. Yeah, obviously we did reject this support, but then if you're focusing on the most recent price action, then I mean, this area is important over here, and this area here as well.
Yeah, I think once we got last 30 minute closed above, I mean, you could have took a trade expecting us to kind of break this area, and then maybe move stops to break even at that point, and anything extra now would be collected.
Yeah, I agree with that to some extent. I think yeah, once we basically closed above there, the only issue I had with that was like I say, is the range with that situation. So from a risk reward perspective, I mean, it's like 9.7 and you're having at least a 12 pip stop. I think, yeah, I mean, it made sense, but obviously we're looking at it now because it's like, okay, we're closing above, but we still could have, like, because we still could have made a resistance here though. That's the only thing.
Yeah, true.
You know, this is the only problem I have, is because of this. It was, you know, this is a heavy downtrend, right? So this could, you know, it's like you could see a candle do many things here. You could see it wick up and then start to reject that area, and then what would you look at it as? Respecting the trend to continue down. You know, that's what you would see it as. But it's because obviously we're seeing this initial impulsive bullish move up that everyone thinks, you know, like it's a buying situation. But, you know, from a structural perspective, we haven't actually got any confirmation for this move. If you was to do this 100 times, probably going to work out maybe, you know, 2 or 3 times max. But yeah, like I said, I'm quite happy to miss this setup, because at the end of the day, we may actually hit here, like what we've seen before, where we basically reach like a key level that's not quite where we need to go. Like maybe here, then we pull back, form some support, and then continue back up. You know, or it's going to need to do it on the next 4-hour candle, right? You know, it's going to pull back or whatever. But we'll see. Because we have a nice clean range over here as well. A nice clean 30 pip candle there.
Exactly, we've got a nice range above there, so it doesn't matter missing this small move up.
No. I think this is like just one of those days it actually has just ran without confirmation. Like, it actually is one of those days. Whereas previously, like, we may have missed it by just missing like one candle or whatever, but this day, complete no confirmation. Minute candle closed bullish above that area, so it would be nice if we can get a bit of a pullback here and some support formed. So yeah, not getting no FOMO or anything over here. Just gonna wait, be patient, wait for what I want to see happen, and that's that, you know. Same situation. Gold coming back in the range. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait over here with pound yen. We may even get a solid 30-minute candle closing above that area, you know, so that's also something that I'm gonna think about. But we'll see, because even if the 30-minute candle closes above, it depends if the 15 minutes a rejection style candle or not. But let's just wait and see. Okay. Better to miss out on money than to lose money. 100% agree with that. 151, 100 and down. We need to see rejection. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that. Any buy trade is a FOMO trade because no confirmation. Yes, I agree. I agree with that. Well, any buy trade that's happened so far. I think right now it depends. If it closes above here, then yeah, I think we can quite easily take nice buys at that point. The only thing that we may find is we may want to revisit over here, but I don't know. I think that should be okay. It depends. Let's say the 30-minute candle closes below, right? Then we would then need like a 15-minute support to form at that point, basically. But let's say the 30-minute candle closes above, then it could still make sense to look for further upside. So we'll see. We need to check this, bro. Okay, cool. 2 secs. Ooh, see. I mean, I know it seemed like it's moving up, but I think there's just a lot of volume, so we'll have to wait for this candle to close. Always going to be the best option. Okay, so this is pound yen 1 hour. You're looking for sells in this area, yeah? Okay, I think a better place to look for sells is going to be below here, because if we're closing back above resistance, then you may want to look for like a support to form over here to then push through this zone. I don't think this is a good area to sell yet at the moment at all. From a structural perspective, we formed a resistance here. We would need this area to be respected to continue down and like retest this low. Without that, I'm afraid I think that we could actually see price pushing through this area that you've got and then up to here if we have like a higher level of support formed, or if we do see just candles still pumping up. So in my opinion, I would say yeah, probably better sells below that previous level of resistance. So we'll see over here. Right. I'm not. Oh, what's that? Dollar index. Dollar index is heading down. GU and GJ might be bullish at the moment. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, I don't really look at the dollar index, but it could make sense. Yes, let's see a nice. Let's see some nice support formed for a buy. Yes, agree with that. Waiting involved here. Yep. Okay, so I follow this guy on IG who trades large amounts of capital and has a big signal group. And oddly enough, he bought at 150, 650. Okay, and just exited the trade. Okay, right. So I don't get what your point is. I don't understand your point, Fabian. If you bought at 650 and he's closing the trade, that means he closed in profits. But that's his analysis, right? That's up to him. I don't see I don't see why that's a problem, or what's the issue there. Thanks, bro. What currency pair? This is pound yen. I can't tell you why he closed the trade. I don't trade for him. You know, I don't know. I can't answer that question. I think if he had buys from 650, it depends on his analysis. But for me, I think buys was very, very risky from over here. But again, you know, everyone has different analysis. If he's taking higher time frame trades, whatever, then that's good for him. But for me, it's no. For me, it makes no sense. I mean, you know, yeah, we are in a strong uptrend. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you can see that physically on the chart. But I mean, it's, yeah. To me, it just doesn't make sense to take a buy here just yet when in the short term, you know, in the short term structure right now tells me that we could have headed down. Right. What currency pair I'm talking? Yeah, this is pound yen. This is GJ. Pound yen. So yeah, like I was saying, from a short-term structural perspective, we have support formed over here. We have resistance over here, and we have resistance here. We could have easily, if this is a previous support as well, here is your support. We've got a lower level of support. So we're making lower levels of resistance and lower levels of support, and someone's trying to take a buy off of one bullish candle. Is that going to be a consistent approach to the market? I'll leave that up to you guys. You know, for me, that's not a consistent approach whatsoever. For me, a consistent approach is going to be, okay, so we've got lower level of resistance, lower level of support. Right, we see this move up. So what am I going to now think? Okay, let's see a higher level of resistance form and a higher level of support form. What's that going to tell me? Further upside. Okay, what's this? Maybe close because he was happy with his profit. Yeah, I mean, if I took an aggressive entry and I had like 16 to 20 pips in profit, I'd be closing out too. So yeah, don't. I think he probably done the right thing. But yeah. Anyway, GBP NZD strong breakout setup coming. Wait for candle close confirmation. What do you think, mate? I think you're right, but obviously I can't talk on it really because I can't physically see it. So if you want to send me a chart, then you know, then I can take a look. If not, then I nothing to say right now. So let's let the 5-minute candles create a support over here, but then we're gonna need to wait for this 30-minute and 15-minute candle to close over here. For me personally. Because even if the 30-minute candle closes like this, you know, it may seem like, oh, we're just going to continue pumping, but then we may actually get the pullback on the 30-minute time frame. We may get the next one do something like this, and then we get the bullish confirmation. Maybe. That'd be nice. That would be a better situation, something like that, and then you can kind of take a trade from there to there, and then above here is going to be nice runners. But we'll see. If there's a lot of volume, then it is what it is, I'm afraid. But I wasn't going to take impulsive buys over here. That is something I was not going to do. You know, I'll wait for candles to close. Okay, my point is that this is why you are seeing this impulsive movement, but I agree with your analysis. Why am I seeing what your... Wait, that makes no sense. I get what you're saying, like you agree with my analysis that he's not incorrect, but you know, he's taking a buy or whatever early, but I don't get what you mean. My point is that why you are seeing this impulsive movement. Yeah, that doesn't really make sense to me. We're seeing this impulsive movement because there's impulsive buys in the market right now. That's why. You know, there's no other explanation for it other than that. Can we take a buy when the current 30-minute candle high is break of the 30-minute? That's up to you. I think that's gonna be difficult because of the range. You know, if I'm gonna take a buy, I want to be getting a buy somewhere over here. Is gonna be better. Even here might not give me enough range. It's like 12, 13 pips. But from a stop loss perspective, now that makes no sense because it's gonna be less than a 1-to-1. So we need the 30-minute candle to close somewhere over here. Otherwise, I'll wait to see maybe if we can get another bearish candle closure here and then a further bullish candle to confirm continuation. You think he moved the market to a certain extent? Yes. Is that what you're trying to say? Is you trying to say that you think he caused this impulsive move up? Yeah.
Doubt it.
Yeah, no. I think doubt is even a bit more of a. Okay. I don't even know if I've got the energy to explain. But yeah. Anyway. Check his story if you don't believe me. Okay, look. I think what you're confusing is that he's using a lot of lot sizes, right? Even though it could be demo for all you know. But anyway, he's using high lot sizes. But let me just say this, right? You know, do you know how much money goes into just one of these candles here? Do you know how much liquidity is actually being produced? Let me tell you, your trader there that, you know, is whoever it is that you look up to, he is a small fish. He is a goldfish in an ocean in terms of his level of money he's got to produce in the market. Let me tell you that. That's just facts, right? You know, unless he's got absolute millions, probably even billions, then he ain't moving nothing.
I think you might think as well that because he's got such a large amount of people in his group that collectively they can do something. But
even if all of us here, even if all of us here right now on the stream took a buy right now, it's not gonna move shit. Obviously the price is just gonna do what price is gonna do, but we ain't gonna influence that situation. I can promise you that right now. So the 30-minute candle broke above here. The issue I have at this point is this. The 5-minute candle is creating support. It's a little bit of a weak candle over here. I think because of the way the 30-minute candle closure, it doesn't make sense to take a buy because we've got like a 12 pip range to a 16 pip stop. What may make more sense, potentially if we can get a retest of here, would make maybe more sense to take a buy, because then we're going to only have like a 10 pip stop for a 17, 18 pip gain. So that's going to make more sense. The only issue though I have with that is we would need the 1 hour candle to basically close above this area. If this 1 hour candle does not, we're going to struggle. We're going to struggle to head up. So, I mean, you know, it may be you need to wait for a support to actually form here to take a buy. Or, you know, we're actually going to need to see a retest. But, I don't know. I'm not sure right now. Over here is not going to be a good opportunity to take a buy. I think if I was going to take a buy, it would be over here. If not, I'm happy to miss this move up. It's just, it is what it is. Like, that's just how it goes. And then potentially look for further support, because I also look at, okay, if we create a support above 151 100, that's going to give me a good opportunity to take a nice clean 30 pip buy, right? Now that's something that I'll be looking at. I think a nice solid support formed above here would make sense at that point. It has to be a solid support, like a strong 15-minute candle, strong 30-minute candle above that level. So it just, yeah, I think today's been one of those Mondays. It's been actually quite a bit of a difficult day to start, but I'd rather a no trade on a Monday than taking a dumb fucking entry. Okay. I don't know. I think my 500 account could do some damage. Yeah. If you just click buy right now, then you could send it to 151, 100. But I'm only joking for those. I think I'm being serious. But yeah, man, honestly, people don't understand the level of liquidity in the markets, man. Anyway, I have interest then, Fabian. Who is this guy that you speak of? Who is this? We're gonna call him the market mover trader. Who is the market mover trader? Lambo Rule. Oh, okay. I've heard of this guy. I've heard of Lambo Rule. So let's check. I've got my phone here. Let's check out Lambo Raul. Oh, you don't look up to him. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I'm looking at him right now. I'm seeing a lot of Lamborghinis. I'm seeing McLaren. I'm seeing more Lamborghinis. I'm seeing one Fibonacci. So what's he trading today then? Let's see on his story. All I see is Lamborghinis. Oh, he bought using a 30 lot. Okay, so yeah, 30 lot ain't gonna do nothing, man. Yeah, people need to, man, just because they trade like, see, this is the thing, because you got a guy, yeah, with a Lamborghini and he trades 30 lot positions, everyone think he's like smashing it, you know. But the first thing is I think he's doing FTMO to start with, so that's technically a demo account. Let's get that right. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not even gonna get involved with that. Listen, whenever I see a Forex trader with a Lamborghini, I'm instantly like, nah, you're just trying to sell a lifestyle, my friend. You know, because at the end of the day, like, if you're really making this money, if you're really doing all this, you know, great stuff, then why do you need to try and sell yourself? You know, I don't try and, like, I mean, in terms of the mentorship and stuff, you know, I don't intend to, I provide value, right? I just try and provide, like, valuable things, you know, education, rather than, you know, oh, I don't know. Man, look, people get sucked into that sort of thing. I'm not talking about you necessarily, Fabian, but I'm just saying people do. They look at these guys and they think, wow, like, you know, this is what trading can bring you. But, you know, more time, his Lamborghini is more probably a rental. You know, they seem to have so many Lamborghinis. So he's got a Lamborghini, but only trades 30 lots. I mean, come on, man. It's like a 300 grand car. Like, man, I don't know. Uh, 100 lot doesn't even move a candle. That's true. Yeah, 100 lot wouldn't do crap. I don't even know what would really move the market. Probably like 1,000 lots. Probably more than that, to be honest. Probably way more than that. And that's the other thing. Like, why is he doing FTMO then? You know, if he's got Lamborghini, he's got all this money, he must have like a lot of money to put into his own account. No, why do FTMO? It makes no sense to me. You know, you got to read between the lines a little bit here, guys. That'd be like me, yeah, having all this big house, this big Lamborghini, but I have to trade someone else's funds on an FTMO. Well, anyone would think if you got money to be spending on a Lamborghini, if you got money to be buying a house, then you would you'd have your own funds. But there you go. So it looks like pound yen's trying to move up over here. Looks like the 15-minute kind of like did the retest there, didn't it? But no guarantee we're gonna push up yet. I think since, you know, potentially missed this situation here, potentially, I say potentially because we may reject this area like what happened like last week, where we had like a minor support that actually got rejected, and then we basically pulled back to create some further support. But let's say that doesn't happen, then I think a nice support above 151, 100 would be pretty solid. So I'm gonna just write that down. So a solid support above 151, 100. That's probably going to be the best opportunity for this session at this point now, because this whole move up, you know, yeah, I mean, it's worked out pretty nicely. It's run for about 30 pips over here, but I think we can still see more upside above 151, 100. But like I say, we're going to need a solid support to be formed over there now at this point for me. Yep, agree with that. To show you a live trainer analysis, yeah, agree with that. Yep, we're getting back to the trading now. I agree with you 100%. Most of his money probably comes from his mentorship. Yes, well, I don't know, but anyway, let's focus on the situation. Let's focus on us. Okay, I'd never pay for a mentorship. Well, I disagree with that comment, to be honest, because it wasn't until I got, you know, proper education that I actually ended up getting somewhere. So I think mentorship is a good thing, but I think it's with the right mentor. I'm not saying necessarily me, but I'm just saying, you know, I think mentorship is really, really important. In fact, I don't really know anyone who didn't have a mentor that's done well, to be completely solid honest. I don't really know anyone that's had a mentor. Sorry, I don't know anyone that hasn't had a mentor that hasn't done well. Yeah, everyone I know that tried to go solo, they just come back and they said, oh, I lost a lot of money. Do you think it's worth investing in my education? I would say yeah. The thing is that if you're going to sign up to someone who's, you know, like not actually providing value, then yeah, you might as well just stay on your own. But, you know, there are traders out there, you know, that actually do provide good value. So you just got to do your own research and see who's, you know, suits you. But yeah, I would 100% agree that you need a mentor, not the other way around. You know, it took me a long time to even even understand like where I would go wrong. You know, I think that's the whole point, is like I would look at, let's say, situations, and I might be like, oh, I don't really understand what I went wrong. you know, because I'm a new trader. But that's where a mentor would be like, okay, your mentor should be able to look at your situation and be like, okay, this is what you could have done better. This is where I would have looked for this. This is what. If they can't do that, then they're not really a mentor. Plus, you know, I think, you know, yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult to say, but I think pound yen at this point seems like it wants to move up to 151, 100. I think that 5-minute support was the support that was potentially created. But I'm not at a level to be trading off the 5-minute yet. So yeah, I think at this point it's going to need to be a solid support formed above 151, 100 at this point. But that'd be nice if we do start to reject this like area here, because then if we pull back and create some support over here, that'll be a really nice move up. Could also be the new 1 hour candle retracing, but we'll see. How long's the 4 hour got? Just over an hour. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it depends at this point. I'm not, you know, more than likely it's just going to push up to 151, 100, but we would need to wait for a support basically, and further support above that area to take a buy. Or if we do actually retrace to this point, I'll be pretty happy with that, because then a nice support over there would also make sense to take a buy. So I suppose you just got to wait. That's what, you know, the whole game is, you know, wait till you see something. You know, we missed this impulsive buy move up, happy with that, so now we wait for support. Simple. Mentor is important, to be honest. I never paid for any mentor before, but I watched Raja stream 6 months ago, and I got to tell you that helped me save a lot of time. Yes, yeah, I think with the free streams, that's good, because obviously you can ask them questions that you necessarily would do a mentor. But you know, if you want that real proper guidance, you know, then obviously getting yourself a mentor isn't gonna hurt. I don't know why people are so skeptical to, like, you know, if we just talk openly and honestly, I don't get why people are so against paying for mentorship. Like, you would go and lose that in a week in trading in the live market. So I think it's more about, you know, just yeah, I mean, that's it. It just, yeah. See gold anyway. What's gold doing? Gold closed back in that range there, but looks like it's trying to create some resistance to potentially continue moving down, but it's a bit of a tricky spot right now. So yeah, it looks like pound yen is pushing up to 151, 100. So this is the exact target that we had in mind for buys, right? So the target is reached, you know, that's fine, but effectively right now it does become difficult. We would need a solid support formed above there to basically clean this range at that point. Looks like we've got a lot of volume here today. We're pumping up above, but we need a solid pullback at this point. There's no doubt about it. So yeah, just gonna wait. We still got time. The only thing is we have news coming in at 9:30, right? Yeah, 9:30. We got news coming in. So we'll see. But now that target was reached. If I was gonna pay for one, it would be Raynortio. Is it that Chinese guy that does the breakout? Yeah, to be honest with you, he may look great, but I mean, I haven't ever. I think I've seen him before, and I don't ever think I've seen a track record. So they can make out that they know as much as they want, but if they don't put them, if they can't show they put their money where their mouth is, I mean, I don't know, but there you go. Yeah, see a lot of education. He definitely not, you know, wrong. You know, he definitely not like wrong about things, but you know, you do want to have a mentor that actually makes money and can put their money where their mouth is, right? And I don't see one single executed trade, not one. You know, so you got to think: is he more of a marketer, or is he an actual trader? So don't, you know, you talk about scams, but I'm not saying he's a scammer, but I'm just saying. I don't even know what to do until I started watching his stream. I've learned a lot from him in a totally free what gift. True. Who mentored the mentor? Somebody had to teach themselves along the way in order to pass the information down. You don't need a mentor, you need you. It's trial and error. I disagree. I think, yeah, I mean, the first person, you know, yeah, you could argue who mentored the mentor, but you know, the first person that became you know, like, I don't know, for example, you could have the first guy might not have ever been profitable, but he had quite good knowledge. You know, there's a lot of people that will, you know, like, put plenty of content out, but they don't ever put their money down, you know, and then what, the next guy got taught by him, but actually took his knowledge and then went and made money from it, right? So there's that perspective. But I mean, like I say, show me people who have not had mentors that are smashing it on a consistent basis. I can't find one. I've never heard from one. I mean, proper, you know, I'm not talking about, oh, I've been consistent for 3 months. You know, and I think since the streams, like not necessarily my streams, but any streams, yeah, there's probably going to be a few more that have actually come through because they, you know, they've got the free streams or whatever. But who's really given them, you know, the guidance? Without that, where would they be? So against it because there are so many scammers out there. Yes, that's true. I agree. 100% agree with that. There's a lot of scammers out there. A lot of people who just interested in your money from signups. So yeah, 100%. But it looks like there's a hell of a lot of volume with pound over here. We are just pushing up. So we, yeah, maybe even missed this opportunity right over there. But we're going to need a support formed above that area to take any type of trade at this point. Oh, whoa, GJ, what's going on?
Jesus God.
Man, Mondays. Yeah, see, at this point, there's no buys until I get a pullback. Man, we were waiting for sells, and just sells never came. Just push straight up, wait for support. Support really never came. I think the only way we could have entered in was maybe on this retest on the 15-minute, but I'm not really keen about that. But then that actually would make sense based on the 5-minute support formed over here. It was basically the retest. So something to consider, but I'm not at that level to be taking a buy based on the 5-minute yet. Looks like we're gonna miss this opportunity now as well. Interesting. Okay, I think people are hesitant to buy a mentorship because they want to find the right one. That's where I'm at right now. Well, I think a part of finding the right one is doing your research, you know, comparing and looking at all the things that are important to you. I mean, you know, I think it's pretty easy to find a very good mentor. You know, you just have to have boxes ticked at the end of the day. You know, I think, you know, the important things, right, with a mentor. Let me just tell you this now, right? Everybody take note. I'm not talking about necessarily me, but I'm talking about any other mentor. These are the things that you want, okay? You want someone that's going to potentially, I think trade live is really important. I think trading live with the students is important. So that's the first thing. The second thing is value. Do they provide value? Do they provide you with daily content? Do they provide you with daily analysis? Okay, that's important. The third thing, do they show results? Do they show that when they take a trade, right, that they actually go and execute and click the button? They can be the best at analysis. They can say, oh yeah, if we break above here, we go there. But if they never ever execute on that idea, then, you know, what's that? That ain't really, that's not trading then, is it? That's just analyzing, you know. That's just an analytic whatever, right? So there's that situation. So I think there's a few things that you can look for in a mentor. Now, in answer to Chris's question, do I have anyone to suggest? You know, I think using that information there, I think you can pretty much filter out 90% of the bullshit. You know, if they can't show being in a live trade, or they can't show being in a trade, then already that's probably good 70% out of the way. Because I know that some of the big, I'm not going to talk names about who I disagree with, but I know some of the big names, they don't ever show their lots, they don't ever show actually getting into a trade. So how can you trust that they even know what they're talking about if they can't even show you the process? So forget them, right? You know, who's going to show you live trades? Okay, we'll go see who trades live. You know, there's a few people that actually trade live. There's Raja, there's me, you know, whoever it is, right? Then again, do they put their money where their mouth is? Do they actually show results, whether they lose or win? Do they show that trade? Do they show the full process of what it takes to be a trader? You know, if they can't do that, then they're not the right mentor for you. You know, if they got one but not the other, it's not, you know, it's not good enough. You can't be alive, like you trade live but you don't even execute. You can't show that you even execute. What's the point? You know, that's just part of adding a better service. You know, so I mean, you know, in terms of a suggestion, obviously I don't want to be here to be like, oh, you know, there's me, but obviously I provide all of those things, right? I was just being honest. I can't say I don't, because I do provide live trading. We're here right now. You know, I've got people in the Zoom right now who are here to see me take a trade live. I do put my money where my mouth is. You know, you go check my IG stories, every trade that's taken has been documented. You know, whether it's a loss or win, I don't care. I'm still going to show the process. If I have a bad week, at least I have balls to show it and say, okay, look, I didn't have a good week, but this is what trading's all about. You have bad weeks in the process, you know, but or whatever it is. Daily analysis, do the daily analysis. You know, there's Raja, same thing, does the same thing. Daily analysis, live trading, shows his money, shows how he makes his money, shows live execution. That's great, you know. Who else could I recommend? So this is the thing, it's so hard because there's actually not many that tick all those boxes. Apart from that, who else offers mentorship that's like half decent? I don't know, but I mean, he's definitely the main one that I would hands down say is a, you know, great mentor is Rakil. You know, no doubt about it. So, but there you go. Anyway, let's answer the next question. So, question about this trade: there is 100% no confirmation that this was going to happen. Nothing but impulse. Yeah, pretty much. The only confirmation you could argue now is this 5-minute candle. This one over here. This was a support formed above pre-London resistance. So this was a confirmation, but I don't trade 5-minute situation right now. I don't trade that because yeah, I'm not at a level, you know, like there you go, being honest, like I'm not at a level to trade the 5-minute. I like to wait for 15 or 30-minute. I want a higher time frame confirmation. We didn't get that today. So what that basically means is there was a lot of volume. Basically there was a lot of volume, and that's why this 5-minute support worked, because there was a lot of volume to push up. That's a very, you know, that's not going to happen all the time. So I'm pretty happy with missing out on this if it means that I stayed true to what I was going to wait for, right? Because you have to plan, and if you plan and something doesn't happen in your plan, then you did the right thing. And I waited. I did want to take a buy above here, and that happened part of the plan, but it was the execution or the entry that wasn't to the point at which, you know, because here is where I would have liked to have seen this situation happen down here. If it happened here, it makes no sense to take a buy with 5 pips to resistance, does it? So yeah, I think I stuck to the plan today and just missed the trade. Is what it is. What's your IG? IG is right there in the on the screen. _H_FX _. So are you saying you provide mentorship? Yes, I do provide mentorship, but you know, again, I'm not trying to like promote myself or anything, but you know, that's what I provide. You know, it's about transparency. Stop loss matters. Great, that's great mentorship. That's your opinion, I suppose. I'm not gonna. I mean, that's okay. Yeah, I know he trades London. But I'm not gonna criticize him. But I think that there is, I think Raja probably the best out there for that type of thing, in my opinion. But yeah. The other thing as well, I think is quite important, is about traders being funded themselves. You know, so Stop Loss Matters, I'm pretty sure he's not funded himself. You know, whereas the best traders that I know, you know, they seem to always have their own funds, and I don't understand why certain traders don't have their own funds. To me, that doesn't make sense. To me, how can you be a good, profitable trader and a mentor if you don't even trade your own money? Because isn't that part of the whole process? You know, you save up to trade to make money off of your own savings. So, where can I find more info on your mentorship? The website, bro. Website. It's itchy there. It says www.hfxtradinggroup.com. It's all there on the mentorship page. But you might want to go to a computer because the mobile website is still needed to be updated. But yeah, this has been a hard situation here on the Monday. So daily is basically create this long liquidity wick now. 4 hour also creating a liquidity wick. 1 hour time frame. Yeah, this is a real sticky situation. I think we just got, you know, a lot of volume that came in basically, but not much room for. Yeah, I think there was so much volume that the buys were basically over here on the 5 minute. That was the only confirmation that we had for a buy. So I mean, for me, I can jot it down, but I'm not going to execute on that just yet, because I admit I'm not experienced enough to take trades on the 5 minute on pound yen yet, because I haven't seen that happen enough times. You know, what I like to wait for is like a 30 minute, a 15 minute, because that gives me a lot more confluence to say, okay, we should head up at that point. But I still think a nice support down over here could mean that wherever high that we're making right now can actually get retested. 1 hour candle also closed bullish. And if we're just going to continue pumping, that means we've got a lot of volume here today. But we've basically reached that 4 hour resistance now as well. So I mean, at this point you could argue that the move is fairly complete. So the only way you're going to catch a trade here today is support. Roger's the best, yes. Oh no, hands down. Hands down. So yeah, looks like it's no trade on the stream today. Boom, 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 boom. Man, I just got an email to say last week I had over 1,200 site sessions on my website. That's pretty good. But I get a lot of them Muppets come on there.
Yeah, that's quite a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, there's quite a lot, to be fair. There's quite a lot, but I still get a lot of those Muppets come on there thinking it's to do with options trading.
Like 1 hour kind of closed, like where we opened to start the day, kind of closed above it.
Yeah, I see that. I saw that.
maybe we'll keep on going. But
I think it's going to continue. I just
Wait
think there
now.
was a lot of volume here today.
Yeah.
Because we were waiting for the retracement. Retracement never happened. You know, it wasn't like, yeah, it just wasn't a good day. It wasn't like an easy day at all. You know, and I think people who caught buys got pretty lucky.
I mean, yeah, you had to kind of base it off the higher time frames, expecting the 4 hour to flip.
Yeah, the only thing about that though is this, right? Is you could expect it, and it's exactly what the analysis was. Like I said at the start of the stream, we could see a 4-hour candle wicking down below and then coming back above, and there was no that, you know, that was the analysis. Like it's happened. It's correct. However, you know, getting an entry, where are you gonna get an entry here? It doesn't make sense because you've got resistance. It's still in a downtrend. 4-hour hadn't even flipped to that point. So I mean, it just didn't make sense until we basically started flipping the 4-hour, I suppose. But even then, yeah, I'm quite happy to miss this, to be honest, because I know that if I was to see this happen again and I took this trade and it didn't work out, I'll be annoyed. So, at myself. So there you go. I think people need to appreciate all that you provide as well. You can easily charge and keep all the info and knowledge to yourself. Big ups, man. I mean, everyone has to start somewhere, and you can only grow from here. That's true. Yeah, that's true. I think a lot of people do. I think a lot of people do provide free stuff, but you know, they want to like give a little bit away for free so that people kind of like buy something. Whereas, you know, if anyone asks me, if anyone knows me, if anyone was to ask me a question on DM, you know, they get the answer. There's no like, oh well, you're not part of the group, so you don't get to ask that question. You know, there's no word like that. But obviously when you're part of the group, you get more access to that type of thing.
Yeah, the amount you've helped me is crazy. Like, I've come on a long way in not too long.
Yeah, it's true.
Just from your help. So I appreciate all that.
That's right. No worries, man. Yeah, all part of it, I suppose, innit? Helping people. Yeah, the only one thing I would say is this 8:30 15-minute candle could have been. See, the thing is I look at this as a target, right? And when I look at targets, I'm not expecting price to break through a target. This is the area where you like kind of like reach and then you expect to be done. So the only one thing I would say is obviously we're talking about a higher level of support. So from a structural perspective, we did kind of get that over there, didn't we? So we did actually get that situation. You know, but above previous resistance over here. But that's what I'm saying, like we could have easily like seen rejection style candles there. I don't really like that whole idea of you know, from a target, it's very different compared to like, let's say we're waiting, let's say we're like consolidating and we have a support, and let's say we get a candle closing at it. Okay, it's very different to then expect it to break than when price is moving up, it reaches a target and then you try and take a buy at your target to push through. Nah. So there you go. So yeah, it seems like a no trading day for me here today so far. Gold. gold is just messy right now. Yeah, I had the exact same thought process. Yeah, because this is a strong area as well. I think this area wouldn't have been a good opportunity to like take a buy at it, you know, or through it. So yeah, I think we basically just missed it. There's a lot of volume here today. It is what it is. It's a Monday as well anyway, so there's no rush. So I think the only way I'm going to take a buy at this point is if we do get like a pullback and a solid, like I said, solid support formed above 151, 100. Should be good. We may not even get that until the next 4 hour begins, which may be the bottom wick. And then actually once we start basically breaking the highs at like 151, 400, then I mean we basically should come back into that next range at that point. It should fill this next range. So something to think about. I'm about to head out, man. Have a good day. I learned a lot. See you tomorrow. Okay, thank you very much for coming. See you tomorrow. Have a good day. 50 a month for 8 months. Is that lifetime? Yes. So that's basically just an installment option, but that's actually finishing. That's actually finishing at the end of the month. I'm probably gonna finish that because a lot of people kind of like asked for it and then never really went with it. It was just an option of making the one-time fee spread across basically in smaller payments. But yeah, that's basically what that is. So it's still the same thing. It's still lifetime access, but it's just a spreaded cost, as they say. Bum, 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 bum. Boom, 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 boom. That 15-minute support was the buying confirmation, but we missed it. I don't think so. I think it made sense, you know, like it made sense from a structural perspective, but then you have resistance right here. So if you took a buy there, you had 5 pips to potential rejection area, and this is a strong level. You know, look at this support. This is where we closed at the weekend. You know, I'm not going to be taking silly buys like that. That's a stupid buy because, you know, if you started to reject there, everyone would be like, oh, we rejected resistance. Well, yeah, exactly. So why buy at resistance? It makes no sense. And I'm not saying, you know, that resistances don't break, but they don't break until they've been broke, right? So, I mean, yeah, that's just part of the, you know, the way in which it moves. Just went long GBP NZD, short Euro GBP, hoping nice breaks. Can send charts on YouTube. Yes, you can send charts on YouTube if you like. Okay, how many likes we got on the stream here? We've got like 20 likes, that's okay. So if you've enjoyed today's stream, drop a like on the stream. I know we haven't had a trade today, but I mean, to be honest with you, I'd rather miss the move and wait for a better confirmation. I think the only thing, like I say, potentially, obviously I'll look back on the situation and be like, you know, how could I have got a good entry? But I think potentially could have gotten on the retest here, but then stops would have need to have been kept. The thing is, the 30-minute candle was still open at that point. So let me just take a look. Yeah, see, the thing about that is the stop would have need to have been kept below the previous 1 hour candle. Because I like to always go on a candle that had closed, because the 30-minute candle hadn't closed, so it was still open. The 15-minute candle was also still open. The only place you could argue maybe here, but then, you know, it's not probably going to be the best option for a trade, is it? That's not going to be the most consistent approach for me. So I think that this would just be classed as a no trading day. So yeah, I think we'll wait a little bit longer, see what happens over here. I just came to stream now. How did you miss such a clean move? Because there was no confirmation, that's why. No confirmation. And if you say there is, then I mean, there was maybe one that we spoke about, but then from the way that I trade and where my targets are, it makes no sense to take a buy that's 5 pip range. So that's why. Yes, we created support, but we was in a downtrend. We were below support, below resistance, so couldn't take a buy. You know, waited till we got above previous level to take up to there. Didn't form support over here. We formed support there, so didn't get a good enough range to take an entry. Would it make sense to take a buy to resistance and our target at 5 pips with a 15 pip stop? No, it doesn't. So right now, just gonna wait for further support to form to potentially retest this high. That's it. Could you go to GJ on the 4 hour? You see that 4 hour made a fake out. Well, it didn't make a fake out. What it did is basically this was the area that we were speaking about this morning. So I knew GJ was gonna head up based on this area, and what I said is that basically the 4 hour candle was when we came to the stream was, you know, like below this level here. It was like this, had a wick, right? And you know, like what we said was it had barely a wick to the top. So if we get like a, you know, like a 4 hour flipping back bullish, and then we get something solid above here, then that would make sense for the 4 hour candle to move up to 151, 100. This was the range that I wanted to take a trade in, right? This was the range to take a buy. For sells, it would be a resistance below here, right, to continue price moving down based on structure. There was no confirmation for either. Waited for sells, no confirmation for sells. Then once we saw that potentially there could be buys, waited for confirmation for buys, there was no buys. From a confirmation perspective, yes, if you wanted to take buys based off your idea that, okay, now the 4 hours flipped, I'm just gonna buy it, that's up to you. That I mean, you know, you can do what you want, but for me, I want to take a confirmation trade, because that's going to give me the most consistent approach in the future, isn't it? That's going to give me the most, you know, I'm in this for the long term. If I was just to do this every time, okay, well, we made a higher support there, then to here. So that makes sense. The only problem is we got resistance. Oh well, I just expect it to break, take the buy anyway. And then we start to see rejections there. How many times is that going to work out of 100 times? You know, that's what I like to focus on, is because if that's not going to work out a lot of times over 100 times, then does it really make sense to take that trade just because it's the one move for the session? In my eyes, it doesn't. You know, what makes sense right now is, okay, I can clearly see now what's going on. I can clearly see what price wants to do. We want it to head up. So what's my best option now? Okay, well, I know that we're making a high right now. If we form a support, then what does that make sense to do? It makes sense to retest that high, doesn't it? So yeah, the next situation that I'm looking at, like I say here, solid support above 151, 100 would give me options to retest whatever high is being made right now. We've got 40 minutes left for the 4-hour candle to close as well. So with the new 4-hour candle, wherever this retraces, that could be the, you know, like the bottom wick for the new 4-hour candle. So, you know, we were looking at potentially something like this, where we can see further retracement. Bearish would be nice, right? And then maybe get like a candle closing above this area and then wicking below, and then we get a support formed where we can get a nice bullish candle like this, similar to here. Difference being, right? Difference being that we was in a downtrend there. So why would we take a buy at support when we're in a downtrend? Whereas now we're in an uptrend. So now it does make sense to take a buy at support. So I'd want to take a buy there to then basically continue pushing further up at that point. That's what I want to take a buy. You know, that's the best situation that we have at this point now. Plus, we've got plenty of time. London session is not over. Okay, nice man. I want to know your explanation. Yes. Well, if you was here at the start, you would have heard the whole thing, but obviously he wasn't around. What's up? What's up? That's okay. No worries about your English typing. For how long are you trading? Do you mean how long I've been trading, or how long am I trading today? Today we'll probably call it a day in maybe like, I don't know, 10 o'clock. Around 10 o'clock I think will be a good time to finish up. So about 3 hours on the stream. Pretty long time. But trading live properly, like 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. Well, yeah, live trading, I've been trading 4 years, but in terms of what's it called, the whole journey has been, yeah, about 4 years. I'll wait to see what the New York session offers. Yeah, I think because at the moment we've got some news coming in 7 minutes as well with the pound. So I think it's gonna be best to maybe take trade like after 10 a.m. as we come into pre-lockdown. What's this? Greater Brisbane. Where's that? Is that Australia?
Yeah, I think so.
They're gonna go into a 3-day lockdown. What's the point in that?
Mm-hmm. Pretty just one person took COVID. Out of 20 new cases.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just like what's even more annoying than like having a constant lockdown is these on and off weekday 3 days. That must just drive me crazy.
Yeah. The thing is about that is though, like, you know, the PCR tests that they do to actually test for COVID. You know, there's a certain percent that will always test positive. I think it's around 30%. It's really, really crap figures.
Yeah, that's shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a pullback here because we basically came up to where we gapped to start the week. So we're going to have a little reaction there. Like I said, we can get a nice support formed after the news. That'll make sense. We'll see how the news comes out. It may push it higher if it's a good... We've got like 5 minutes left. Right. Okay. I hope so. I've made nothing today. Yeah. Well, listen. Don't worry, man. It's a Monday. You know, you want to be taking an nice, easy setup on a Monday. You know, if you ain't taking a trade on a Monday, I personally think that's a win in itself, because a lot of people lose money on a Monday and they don't start the week off right. Trust me, because I used to take plenty of losses on Mondays. In fact, Monday was like my worst day at one point. So for me, it's a win to not have a loss on a Monday. To be completely honest. Oh, this may continue going, man. Oh, wow. Looks like a little liquidity grab there. Further supports being formed on the 5, just running. Yeah, I think let's wait to see how the news comes out over here. It's how our country responds to COVID. It works. Oh, you from Australia, Chris? Yeah, I mean, we've been in a lockdown for a year and we still ain't controlled the virus. So I don't know, man. I think.
How about no lockdowns?
Yeah. How about just no one locks down and we just all get on with it? It's actually crazy. Like, I was deep in it. I was like, I mean, they had the cheek as well to call it an anniversary of like the lockdown, and I'm like, hang on a minute, an anniversary is supposed to be a celebration. This ain't a celebration. This is a crime against humanity.
Good for the second year.
Oh, man, do you know what I think about all the time? I think about that speech that Boris done on the New Year's Day, and he was like, 2021 is gonna be a fresh start, a clean slate. He was there saying 2020.
Chat so much.
Yeah, he's like 2020 was a bad year for everyone, but don't worry, 2021 is gonna be a fresh, clean slate. And I'm like, I'm there 3 months in. This is worse.
Yeah, like everyone was joking, like, oh, this year's gonna be better and all this.
It's crazy,
Just
man.
like. Alluded.
Oh, damn! Look at that.
Do you reckon that's getting priced in for the news?
Probably, yeah. Yeah, that's news pricing in at that point. That's probably like 1 minute candle that just moved like crazy amount of pips.
I saw Leon sent in the chart. He got in right down at like 600, and he was going to hold this all the way up.
Oh, nice.
The one risk to reward. I think he closed out around like 300.
Oh wow, good for him, man. Yeah, he did say that he was looking for buys if we create support there. So, well, yeah, nice.
If he's holding it now, he'd be getting 90 pips.
Jesus.
Maybe.
Yeah, I took 60 pips It's just something I'm testing, you know, and something I want to see a bit more often to provide some support.
Yeah.
Not my usual type of trade, but yeah.
Still,
really nice.
yeah, still nice, man. It's a good trade. Yeah, I think we're gonna miss this support setup over here as well. Man, a lot of volume for a Monday. It's like 80 pip move. Wow. Okay. I think if GJ stay above 151, 200, it's gonna keep going up. Yeah, potentially. Well, I think it's gonna continue moving up. Yeah. But we've got a good amount of ranges here. Like we've got a range above 151, 730 as well. But to be honest, if it just keeps pumping up, like I'm not gonna try and buy it, you know, just because I think it's gonna continue. You know, you're gonna need a retracement, otherwise it just doesn't really make sense. This isn't the place to discuss COVID. Oh, we talk about it all the time. I'm not being funny, but I mean, I've been stuck in a lockdown for a year. If I don't talk about it, I'll drive myself mad. If I don't release some frustrations. Well, I suppose we've been in and out, but still, there's been constant restrictions. I can't remember a day you've actually been allowed to have your complete freedoms. But okay, so let's see how the news comes out over here. Probably news just got priced in, I would have thought. It's only like mortgage approvals. Doesn't want to load up. Still going. Wow, I think next target is 151.730 on pound yen, so it's like another 14 pips away. It's pretty good. I like it. Oh, this is just pumping up. Wow, a lot of volume here. Yeah, we may even, if the, oh yeah, looking at the daily, I mean, yeah, we may push up into the 152s, or at least 151.900. Wow, look at this situation right now. It's crazy. Weekly now made a bottom wick, moving up. Yeah, I think we could do the weekly wick fill in the next couple of days. What's strange is though is that this is it's all happening like what's the word, at the end of the month. Usually the end of the actual month is yeah, I think usually end of the month there's a pullback, but I think it's done the pullback till they basically continue with the end of the month. So how did the news come out? So mortgage approvals was less. Yeah, do you know what? I don't really look too much into this, but it's just interesting, I suppose. Yeah, looks like pounds, no prisoners. Okay, let's answer a few more questions, and I think it's going to be a good point to call it a day here today, because we have completely missed. So I mean, looking back, we did speak about this situation here. Like it from a structural perspective, it did make sense, but I think there was just so much volume that we basically just cleaned everything out. You know, all of these levels we just cleaned through. When if you think about it from an average day perspective, right, we always see reactions at these points. There's always some form of a situation. So you know, just because you see it move 100 pips, you know, today, you know, if we go back through time, you know, it's very, very choppy moves. Like if we go to, I don't know, let's say, you know, even last week, right? Most of these situations, look, we get pullback, support form, continue, you know, pullback, right? High maids, pullback, support formed, continue. Right, look at this London session, right? We had the support formed, we had the correction phase, right? Then we had a pullback around 10:30 a.m. We had support formed around pre-New York, and then we continued with the volume, right? So, I mean, that's something I'm going to be looking at for today. But I think for the minute, I have to just accept that this move is off, you know. And to take a trade at this point, you know, you don't want to get caught out buying at the high, because a lot of times when there's big moves like this, there's big retracements. So, anyway, I think we're going to, yeah, like I said, we're going to call it a day here soon in a minute. But let's see how many likes we got on the stream. We got 53 people and only 23 likes. Come on, guys, we can do better than that. Let's get some likes up in here. Let's get some more likes on the stream. Okay, what's going on? So before this outbreak, we were around 80 days of 0 community spread cases. Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, have they started vaccinating people in Australia yet? Anyway, good morning. How does daylight saving time affect sessions opening? Basically that means for us the clocks went forward. So all it means is that the 4-hour candle then starts at 6 a.m. again, rather than starting at what's the word? Instead of starting at 5 a.m. That's all it is. So basically, beforehand, like MY sessions would start at like 10:30. So if you remember last week, if you're from the UK, the MY session would, you know, if you watch Raja, then he would start at 10:30. But then now it's back to 11:30. So it's basically back to like normal time. So I wouldn't read into that too much. So the only thing that I'm looking at here is where the 4-hour candle basically flipped. So let's just put a little line here to say where the 4-hour candle flipped. Put a little orange line so we know. So 4-hour basically closed as we broke above that 1-hour candle, right? Let's take a look at the 30-minute. So yeah, basically once we broke this 30-minute high was the 4-hour candle flipping. But then it's like, that's the point, isn't it? We have resistance right over here. So even if it flipped, right? See, this is the thing, right? This is about consistency. Let me explain a concept about consistency. Whenever you see the situation, someone's going to be like, oh, 4-hour candle's flipping here. I think this would be a good opportunity to take a buy. Yes and no. The 4-hour candle had no top wick. I've seen in many, many circumstances it come all the way back to make a top wick. So what would that look like? Well, that would probably look like basically a rejection of this area at that point. You know, and then what would you do? Would you still look for buys? Would that make sense? So there you go. Oh, they have started vaccinating. How many people have been vaccinated? Look at gold. Gold is still just very, very choppy right now. Yeah, I'm not going to touch gold until we're below around 1721. or 1722 is going to be the area for me. Yeah, around 1722 for sells. Okay guys, so I think we're gonna call it a day here today on the stream. So for me personally, what I'll be looking for in terms of a trade or whatever later on, so we've had this big move up, right? We haven't got one 30-minute candle closing bearish. We had one 15-minute candle closing bearish. So at this point now, I think it's going to be the only opportunity really is to wait for a retracement and a support to form. The other thing as well is we've got to be careful because we've now reached a weekly resistance. So we may see a bit of a reaction there. We've also come up to this rejection area on the daily. Remember that this was a resistance. We closed back in the range to come down. So technically speaking, a close above here on the daily would then eradicate that idea. So you would basically need a stronger candle above that area. 4 hours coming to a close in 20 minutes. The next one should retrace a little bit because it's moved up quite a bit, right? So yeah, that's all we can really say right now. Otherwise, I think the only move that could have been taken was around 5:30, but I was sleeping to test this low. That's the only thing that kind of made sense, to test that low, and then if it ran to continue down to 150, 660. I think that makes the most sense for a trade, but I was asleep. Asleep. And then the buys we've discussed was pretty difficult. Not much confirmation. Alright then guys, so if you've enjoyed today's commentary, drop a like on the stream. We've gone through some good analysis, etc. I spoke about what it is that you need to wait for at this point now. You need to wait for a further support to form, and then you can look for further upside. So there you go. So thanks very much everyone. We'll be back tomorrow 7 AM normal time. I think tomorrow will be a better day. I think the rest of the week's going to be good.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, no worries Leon, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too, mate.
Cheers, well done on that trade as well.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
No problem. Alright, thanks guys on the YouTube, thanks very much, and we'll see everyone tomorrow. No worries Chris, thanks for coming on, appreciate it.